Hey, what's happening, Get One? I'm SirJames coming at you guys with another video, and I hope you guys had a wonderful weekend. This past Sunday, I got the chance to go back to the Disneyland park once again. Started off my day at California Adventures to specifically visit Avengers Campus, and then, of course, to hop back over to Disneyland to end off my day. Let's just say that, if you haven't been here for the past week or so, my initial promise to you guys was I was going to try to get at least 2, maybe 3 different video coverages for Avengers Campus. So the first video, which would have been today, was going to be about, the daytime experience, the shows and the food and whatnot, and what I thought about the land. And then a video down the road would be for Avengers Campus at night, because I know it's going to be a bit of a different experience, because I heard it definitely shines once it gets dark, of course. Unfortunately, I've had mostly negative experience as far as Sunday goes, from probably more than half of my day wasted waiting to get into Avengers Campus, to be led to a bunch of disappointment, which we'll talk about that in just a few minutes. I figured I want to kind of start with something positive and then share with you guys any potential merchandise that I might have gotten, some things that I think you guys might like to get your hands on if you do get the chance to visit. So before we kind of get into the Avengers topic, I wanted to showcase this here. This is something that I finished up on Saturday, which is a resin printed Republic Commando. And he is painted by me, of course, files by another person. And then I gave him a snow base to represent Hoth. So I hope you guys like how this turned out. So again, just wanted to kind of start with the positives first. So let's go ahead and start with the first thing, is talking about this thing back here, this Infinity Gauntlets. Now over at the Shrama plate, I can't even say the name correctly. Wow. I'm not good with pronunciation, so if you're new here, apologize. So the place at the end of the first Avengers film that the Avengers go and eat at, they actually have a couple of those carts lying around Avengers Campus. And there they have a souvenir item that you can get if you so desire, which is this Iron Man Infinity Gauntlet that's actually a drink holder. This retails for about $27 or $28. It does feel cheapish, so it's not like the highest quality material, but again, you're not paying a lot of money anyways. And it does come with the drink, so you can choose to get a soda or a water, whatever your personal preference is. Which, if you think about it, the drink is already like, what, $4, $5? I don't remember how much the drinks are, to be honest. So again, that definitely adds to the cost for sure. What's neat is that, one, it's actually wearable, so you can stick your hand in here quite easily. There is a little holder here, so you could take your drink, which that's how it normally comes with. You have your drink sitting in there, and you can go ahead and enjoy your delicious drink while you're at the park walking around with your Infinity Gauntlet. Of course, if you don't want to carry it around, you could just either take it back to the car or toss it into the locker, which is what I did. Also, too, the other neat thing is that this actually lights up. So yeah, just like that, you have the Infinity Stones that light up, and it actually has a pulsing light effect. And it's got a nice, Iron Man shine to it. So it's pretty neat. So again, just a little, a random souvenir item. If you wanted to get it, you just find it at those carts. Again, under $30. Not too bad of a piece. And what's pretty neat too is that you could remove this red piece if you want to wash it, and of course if you want to display it, just remove this red holder here, and it stands up perfectly fine on its own on a shelf. So if you have like a little Marvel collection, you want to add like an Infinity Gauntlet without spending like $100 on one, again, a pretty neat one to have nonetheless. The other thing that I got is that they had some of these pins available, which is a limited edition pin, and that's for the Avengers Campus opening release date. And on it basically just says Avengers Campus June 4th, 2021. So the pin does say 2021. The only reason why I say that is because there was a couple shirts that I've seen that says 2020 on it. That's because Avengers Campus was initially going to open last year, but because of the pandemic, it was pushed into this year. So I'm pretty sure some of those shirts will probably change eventually. Maybe some of those might get clearanced out sooner than later. Who knows? But yeah, got me this limited edition pin. I also got my little brother one because he wanted one. The other thing that I got that I thought was pretty neat, again, another inexpensive item. It's under $20, specifically $15.78, is the Avengers Glow Badge. It comes in a small box like this, and then on the back it just has some simple instructions. Nothing too complicated. But this is what the Glow Badge looks like. So you got the Avengers Campus logo there. Has a little bit of a thickness to it. And there's a magnet back here, which actually comes apart like so. And you can go ahead and attach it to, to your shirt. As an example there's a little bit of a weight. Obviously I wear loose shirts, so it kind of hangs down a little bit on me. But I did wear this. I attached it to the tabard because I was dressed as a Sith. So I was a completely different character in a completely different galaxy for sure. But it did fit on my tabard. I'll probably maybe modify this for maybe a stronger magnet. But it did work nonetheless. If you have a thicker material clothing, maybe the magnet might not work so good. But what's neat about this, again, because it's less than $20, it's called a Glow Badge. So it's going to do the one thing that's meant to do, which is glow. There's a few different lights, colors. So you have red, blue, green, purple, yellow. Then there's a second mode where it does pulse red, pulse blue, pulse green, pulse purple, and pulse yellow. And then the last mode will basically maneuver between all the different colors, and just a simple little product. And then the next one is off. So I thought this was pretty neat. If you just want kind of something to pop out at night while you're at Avengers Campus, or maybe just throughout the rest of Disneyland. I was actually wearing this on some of the rides when I was at the Disneyland park, and a lot of people were asking me, it's like, oh, where'd you get that? So definitely caught some attention for sure. But a really neat product if you just want something that's not going to cost you an arm and a leg. Another neat thing too are these things here. These are the pin particles from Ant-Man. So I have a blue capsule here and a red one. Let me kind of get the name correctly for you guys here. So I picked these up at the Pim Test Kitchen, and that's also where I got the next item, which we'll talk about afterwards. But these are called the glowing pin particle capsules, which retails for $5.49. They also have the glowing pin disc particles that Ant-Man was using to launch at things. I forgot to get those. I apologize. Next time, if I get the opportunity, that's at least not as frustrating as it was the first time, then I'll try to get some of those too to showcase. But I think these are great because, one, they're very inexpensive, and two, these will be great to add to your Marvel shelf if you maybe have an Ant-Man Hot Toys figure, or if you're cosplaying as Ant-Man, because what's neat is that these actually glow. So once we bring these up here, so yeah, these actually light up, and there's a liquid inside. Oh, let's see. So yeah, there's a nice liquid inside, and these actually glow. You just press these down, simple as that. I think these are mostly meant to kind of toss into a drink, so you could have your drink glowing at night. So again, just like another nighttime effect. But yeah, just as a little display piece to kind of have on your shelf, I think these are great little souvenir items for sure. And that's basically all I got from Avengers Campus. Again, I didn't get much just because of how frustrated my day was already trying to get into the damn place. But I did get one other item, not from Avengers Campus, but this is going to be the only other time that I get to showcase this. But I got this at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, which is a ceramic mug here. So definitely cool. This one retails for $24.99, and I got this over at the Outfitters. I was worried that they were going to have none of these because a lot of people were buying these out. Thankfully, they were in stock when I was there. All right, so now that we got the merchandise out of the way, what about food? Did I eat anything there? I did have two things. The first one, which was the main number one item on my list, was the giant pretzel. And it was indeed like a humongous pretzel for sure. If you don't eat a lot, it might be too much for one person to finish in just one swing. But if you're kind of having it as a meal for like a breakfast, lunch, and dinner thing, then of course you can enjoy it for the rest of your day. I would say it's lightly salted, so it's not heavy on the salt or anything like that. I didn't really like the cheese that Disney used, so I just kind of ate the pretzel plain, which was fine on its own. It was light, fluffy, delicious, lightly salted. Really nothing to complain about, just besides me not liking the cheese that Disney uses, but that's really about it. And then the other one that I got is a churro. I forget the name of it on top of my head. I do apologize. Some of the names are kind of hard to remember anyways. But there was a cart towards the Guardians of the Galaxy. They have a couple little items there. There's like a cheesecake thing, and then there's the churro. It was weird because the churro it's green, which is to represent one of the Infinity Stones. So you would think, okay, it's green, maybe it's like a sour apple flavor. No, it's pineapple. I never really had a pineapple flavor stuff, and I love churros, so I'm kind of 50-50 on that one. But I heard they're supposed to do different themes, so there's supposed to be like different color churros in that area and different flavors. So we'll see what maybe the next one is that hopefully I'll get my hands on. I was kind of hoping that they'll have all the different flavors at once, because then I would have bought all of them at one time. Probably be a lot of sugar for sure, but man, I would have been up for it. But yeah, the churro was alright. Again, it's going to be 50-50 per person, so if you want to try a different flavor churro, again, pineapple flavor on a color green. So I'm hoping for green apple, maybe in the future. But yeah, like I said, the pretzel was great, and that's all I really got to try. There was a breakfast item that I wanted to attempt, but this is where it gets worse. So this is how the day was. So when I got there in the park, they were already letting people in, so I was already in California Adventure by 8:15, 8:20, give or take. So I was already beelining towards Avengers Campus, and they were already forming a standby line. The standby line, I thought, okay, shouldn't be too bad. I think I got into the park a pretty good time, right? The standby line was going basically just about all the way towards the other end of California Adventure. That's how long the standby line was. And there's a section by the little pier docking area that like zigzags all the way through and up into this ride, and then it zigzags all the way back. It was crazy how many people were trying to get into Avengers Campus. So let's just say that I waited in the standby line, mind you, for almost 5 hours. Just because I made a promise to you guys, I was trying to do my best to get in and record or whatever the case may be. Waited almost nearly 5 hours. At one point, when we're so close to getting into Avengers Campus, I could kind of hear the music. Anytime Spider-Man comes out, I could hear Spider-Man, and then I was able to see the stunt animatronic robot. So at least I got to see that thing. I didn't get to see the full show or not. But at one point, the line I swear, it didn't move for an hour and a half. Getting that close, after the line was already moving slowly but surely, got to the point where it was a dead stop. And by the time I got into Avengers Campus, that's where the experience started to get even worse, just because it was jam-packed. Like Avengers Campus, you would think to be like a large campus. It's relatively small because, it's where Bug's Life used to be. It's definitely a small campus for sure. But they have that place jam-packed with people. The best way I could describe it is, for anyone that's ever been to Disneyland here in California, before the whole pandemic, if you've ever been to Disneyland on a very busy weekend, you would know that on Main Street, when there's a parade going, it's just filled to the brim with people and it's really hard to move. That's basically how it was in Avengers Campus. I heard in the morning time, if you managed to get in, I heard it's not too bad before 10:30, but after 10:30 is when it goes to hell. But yeah, that's how crowded it was. So that's why I couldn't record anything, just because it was hard to maneuver. People were bumping into me. It was annoying. It was just pissing me off beyond belief. I did get to see at least one of the shows, which over by the Avengers building. You can't go in it or anything like that, but they have a show that comes into play where you have like the trickster that comes and invades the place. Wasn't too bad of a show. I enjoyed it. It was right basically in front of the PIM kitchen facility, so that's where that's going to be located. I couldn't see the full Spider-Man stunt show, but I did see the stunt animatronic robot that kind of flies up high over the trees. So that part, at least I got to see some of it. And I thought the little stunt robot thing was really cool, so I kind of was tripping out over it. Because, when you see videos on it on YouTube, it's, it's pretty impressive. But when you see it in person, it's like, whoa, the robot looks so lifelike. But, yeah, that's really bad. I probably spent, again, almost 5 hours in a standby line. And I was probably inside the land for maybe 15 minutes. Just because I couldn't stand the crowd. Like literally shoulder to shoulder, people bumping into you, zero social distancing, zero control whatsoever, and it was just a disaster. So hopefully maybe next time when the land dies down, maybe I could film better in there. I would say what they should have done, in my humble opinion, is how they did it with Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. For those of you who don't know, before Galaxy's Edge officially opened up to everyone in the public, they had a month-long period where you're able to go online and get a reservation pass to go into that particular portion of the land. And basically how it was done is that you were able to get a certain day, and then you had a certain time limit. So they limit the amount of people that can go into the land, and you had about, I don't know if it was like an hour or 2 hours, I can't quite remember, but they should have done that, at least for the first month for Avengers Campus opening. They should have done that method. I think that would have been much more organized, better controlled, and would have been a better overall experience for everyone who wants to at least be able to check it out before being officially open to everybody. But again, when I was there, it was a disaster. I feel sorry for half the people waiting in that line, especially for a lot of people there that were with their kids. Now, I know that was already a lot of negative experiences from my end, but I at least want to offer some kind of silver lining. Unfortunately, I never got to try out the new Spider-Man ride. For those of you who don't know, is that there's at least one new ride. It's a Spider-Man interactive web-slinging kind of ride. I heard it was kind of similar to Toy Story Mania, but with some new different techs that you get to use, along with a lot of merchandise that they're trying to sell for the ride too. But the thing is, for that ride, it's based on a reservation system, just the same way as it is for Rise of the Resistance. So if you don't have a reservation to go on the new Spider-Man ride, then you're not going to be able to go on it at all. There's 2 attempts, just like Rise of the Resistance, at 7 o'clock and 12 o'clock. If you manage to get a reservation for the ride, you get to bypass the entire standby line, because there's a separate entrance for you guys where you get to go pretty much right on in. And that's basically the only way you can get in without having to wait in that long line. So if you find that the line is too chaotic in the morning, then you might have a chance at the 12 o'clock one. Both attempts that I tried, not gonna lie, the passes were gone. The second, both clocks hit. So the second it hit 7 o'clock, passes were gone. The second it hit 12 o'clock, the passes were gone. That's how bad it was. But I did manage to get Rise of the Resistance at 12, even though I couldn't get Spider-Man, so at least that was something. So you might have a better shot getting into Rise of the Resistance this time around if you haven't had any luck before, so that might be the silver lining here. But yeah, just like I said, my experience was downright terrible. I hope maybe Disney might take this into consideration from maybe some of the feedback that people have had, and maybe they might better organize it as the next couple of weeks or so. I don't really know what their initial game plan is, but the way it was organized, which in this case definitely was not organized, it was just a mess. It was a disaster. I don't know how anyone could have a good time dealing with that much, crowd level in there. It's just too hard to do anything. I guess the other positive thing to mention is that there's definitely a lot of characters. So if you're hoping to see a lot of different Marvel characters, there's definitely, I mean, I saw Spider-Man, I saw Ant-Man, I didn't see Doctor Strange because I know he's part of a show, and unfortunately I just wasn't going to deal with the frustration that I was already dealing with. But I did see both variations of Captain America. Both Captain Americas are used in the land. Between the original and new one, which technically spoiler for one of the Disney Plus shows, and of course Black Widow, Black Panther. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of characters, so there's definitely a lot of potential for meet and greets and things like that. And there's definitely a lot of neat photo spots if you can manage to get into one of those photo spots. So if you do like Instagram shots and stuff like that. But yeah, like I said, hopefully maybe next time, if the crowd isn't too big, maybe the experience will probably be a lot better than what I had to deal with. At least that's what I'm hoping for. But I just want to kind of share with you guys what my experience was and my personal opinions on what I thought overall. But if you guys have any questions, please let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to listen to me talk about the land. And I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day.